Good morning. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the YouTube Creator News. My name is Doug, as always. My name never changes. But in case you've never been here before, I'm Doug, and welcome to YouTube Creator News. I hope everyone had a great week. And lots of stuff to get into today. I was a little overwhelmed by the amount of stuff, the amount of news, the amount of updates, the amount of things that are going on in this past week. Sort of makes up for maybe the last week or two. So we're going to get cracking into it in just a few short seconds. So the first thing I'm going to do is, why have I got this bell ringing in my ear every time something comes in? Let's click on that. Let's get rid of that. That'll help. That'll help. And then we're going to get in. We're going to do a few shout outs. Let's get right into that, starting with Monique, who was here like 2 hours before the stream, dropping the note. Did you get the challenge completed? That's the question I have. Get those clips done. Get those clips done. We've also got Lee there, Anfield Road, Latin Loft. Good morning. And Kevin Hawthorne, of course, as always, coming at us from Lakeland, Florida. Oh, I'm getting the water early there. Live stream consultants in the house as well. Welcome. Frankie YT, howdy. Now I got to click manually. Hang on. They're moving quicker than I can click. The Creator Classroom is here. Maybe one of these Saturdays I won't have stuff to do. Saturdays can be like that. They can be like that, I tell you. Who else we got in here? Ollie Smith is here. Welcome. Larry, Home Rapid Repair, is here as well. Good morning / evening. Or maybe I'm not old enough to be on an Oz live stream. You are. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what age you are. You're welcome. All right. Let's keep going in the chat. What have I skipped? I was just trying to skip on the new people coming in. Did I miss anything in the skipping? Creator Classroom says it was 100% my fault. I suggested my hubby and I go for a local bakery for breakfast. Hey, that's a good call. That's a good call. I would probably do the same. Make a good call like that. Okay, just making sure that background music is there. There we go. I'm hosting my first workshop about Canva. Awesome. A bit nervous about that, but I know every single participant. Hey, yeah, that's cool. I like it. Canva's my jam. Just so people know, Canva is also my jam. Nano Banana's a nice side assistant, but the flexibility of Canva is always good for me. I like Canva. But it should be, have to plan it, set it up. It should be this month. A bit of work to do there. I just need to download last set of shorts. Hey, yeah, well, the download, that's the easy part, isn't it? Downloading the shorts. Ali says, I'm missing Chantel too. Yeah, she's a little unwell at the moment. So I wasn't sure if she was going to maybe drop by. She may still drop by. I'm not sure she'll be dropping by for Nick's stream later as well. But that's okay. She needs to rest and get better. Now, she's not streaming this week because she's unwell. So she's already said, hey, I'm out. Because once I get better, I've got work to do. She's got work piling up. So a big shout out to Chantel that she gets a rest up and gets well soon. So if you're watching this, rest up and get well soon. So we will make do without the head moderator. We have wrenches in the chat, so that's all good. It's all good. All right, making sure everything's good here, and because the news is plentiful, I think we should get right into it. So as always, let's do it.
Stay tuned for Creator News.
Right, and I should just press the button. I'm doing this differently today. It's going to look similar, But yeah, hopefully the mechanics of it, it saved me a lot of time in setting up doing it this way. So let's jump on in. Let's get rid of that BMAC thing. Now I got lots of videos to riff off this week. There was the newsflash this week on YouTube video was on Thursday, not Tuesday. So you know, Tuesday wasn't news day this week, although on Tuesday they dropped release notes, and then on Wednesday they dropped a myth busting on channel membership, so we're going to talk about that as well. Then on Thursday they dropped this week on YouTube, and then we jump on over to the YouTube creators channel, and there was some monthly recaps going on. So we've got a lot to touch on today. Some of the information may be repeated, so if that's the case, then we'll just mention it and then move on. Some of the information later on will be for stuff we've discussed in previous weeks, so we'll mention it and move on because there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, let's look at let's start with this week on YouTube, aka the YouTube News Flash on Creator Insider. First of all, there was 3 items this week. That rollout of title and thumbnail A/B testing. So that's where we can test our title and thumbnail. We're going to go and have a look at that in a second. Rolling out globally to creators with advanced features. So where you may not already had it, if you have advanced features, you should expect that to be activated very soon. And of course, you can test up to 3 variations for up to 2 weeks of variations of thumbnail and title combos, or you can just go old school and just do continue to do straight thumbnail tests, or you could even do straight title tests. It's up to you. It's flexible. Also this week, the big announcement this week is YouTube Recap is rolling out to all users of YouTube in the sense of viewing. So it's what you watched, you know, what you got into on your channel in terms of viewing for the year. It's the annual year in review. It's a bit like Spotify has their Spotify Wrapped, tells you what sort of music you listen to. YouTube Music have been doing that as well, but now we're doing it on YouTube proper. And so most people should have already had that pop up on their mobile and pop up. If you click on the U tab, there should be like a little card that will look like something like this. Let's have a look. We can have a look at it. It's all good. So if I go to my U tab and click on the button, so you can see your 2025 recap is here. So that's on the U tab, which is obviously down the bottom here, and that just brings up like your access to your history and your playlists and stuff. But right at the top there's a card you can tap that'll activate my recap. My top channels, I didn't prepare the visuals for this, although I did save them to my camera roll. My top channel this year was Linus Tech Tips, because and the only reason why it was number 1 is because I watch their WAN show nearly every Saturday. Well, Friday night your time, Saturday my time. I every day at work while I'm eating my lunch, I will watch whatever the current Linus Tech Tips video is for that day or for the previous day if I haven't watched it yet. And so I'll watch a video nearly every day from the Linus Tech Tips channel. My number 2, if you can guess my number 2, you should guess my number 2. My number 2 is Nick Nimmin. Obviously, if I'm spending a lot of time moderating on his channel, then it's probably going to show up. Where he probably hasn't put out as many sort of standalone videos this year, but he's been live streaming regularly. So I've been on his channel moderating, and so you know all that watch time and stuff that gets him into number 2. And I believe I got Roberto Blake at number 3 because I sort of did the same for when he live streams. So yeah, all that fun stuff going on there. But let's jump back and get back into the news. We'll talk a little bit more about recap. There was also a winter gift drop for those who are using gifts in vertical streams, which is still only in the US. I think it's been about a year now. Anybody recall when gifts dropped? I think it was like end of last year. So we're 12 months in. The vertical gifts are still US only, or whatever other countries they were testing in. They haven't rolled out widely yet. So YouTube, why are you delaying the rollout of this monetization feature? Come roll it out. But anyway, winter gifts. We've got new digital gifts. We're all going to look at what they are. in a moment. So let's see if I'm able to navigate to my pages in my new method. Here we go. So we're going to just recap on a couple of those, which is the test and compare A/B testing. It sort of looks like something like this. This is just an example from my channel of the interface. Obviously, I can slot in. This is one of my videos. It's probably a month or so old. I could slot in extra thumbnails, and I can slot in all the titles and do thumbnail title combos 1, 2, 3. Matt Navarro this week announced it on in his thread. I just remember he doesn't do tweets; he does threads. The usual information there. We've talked about A/B testing before, so we won't go into it in too much detail. I've got to remember not to press the next button down on my Stream Deck because that's not how it works. And just to show you what those winter drops are, we've got like a reindeer who's got a concerned look on his face. It looks like we've got a Christmas marshmallow type hot chocolate maybe drink going on there. We've got a 8-bit dog with a joystick controller. We've got an owl. We've got a cat coming out of a present. We've got a pug with some Christmas lights, and we've got a present opening up with a very electric looking joystick inside. So some fun gifts that you can drop on vertical live streams right now. And obviously they're seasonal, so they're going to end very soon. Now I'm going to jump in on some of the questions before we continue on, because I did see a question here. I'm just going to pull it up. Is A/B testing for long form only? Yeah, I believe so. It's only for long form content, and so you can do it on uploaded content. You can't do it on live streams, and you can't do it on shorts. That is correct. Linus was one of the headline speakers at VidSummit. He certainly was, and that's where that interview he did with John Ushai that came out on John Ushai's channel this week. That's where that was recorded. You notice he's wearing the same sort of top that he was wearing when he did his keynote. So that was like filmed there and then edited, and now it's up on that channel. Nick Niman should be one of the headline speakers at VidSummit. Certainly. He's got a regular gig there every year though, which is always pretty cool. He's usually one of the openers. Usually last 2 years he's been like first session, opening day, first session, nice and early. Although no, it was Roberto this year. And then last year it was him and Roberto. They did it like a shared thing. That's right. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is release notes, which came out on Tuesday, I believe. And release notes is a little quick sort of chat podcast with Renee Ritchie and Johanna from the YouTube team. And today they were just announcing the release of the recaps for everybody. And that the recap feature is no longer limited to YouTube Music, because apparently last year that was a thing. I don't use YouTube Music, so I don't know. It now covers all video viewing history. Well, for 2025 anyway. Key user stats. Viewers will be able to see their top channels, top interests, and how their viewing habits evolved throughout the year. There's some gamified personas. The feature assigns users to a specific personality type. I think mine was Skill Builder. I think I got Skill Builder for mine. Let me know what you got. If you've looked at it at your YouTube recap, what personality type did you get? Skill Builder. There was a whole bunch of them. This is powered by Gemini AI to organize the unstructured data of billions of channels into coherent stories for users. Did a pretty good job. Music integration. The recap will still include cards for top artists and top songs if the user uses YouTube Music. I don't. The availability of the feature is rolling out immediately to users globally. So it was going to take a few days. I think most people should have it now. I noticed on Reddit, a lot of people are like, I don't have it yet. It's like, patience, my young Padawan. So that's the overview of the recap. Notable comments about recap. MKBHD was very happy because he sort of promoted the idea of doing a YouTube recap based on what people watch. So he was very happy with that. Neil Mohan from who is obviously the CEO of YouTube did a big announcement, and apparently he's a wonder seeker, if you can see on that card there. Obviously I tweeted about it, a little bit of an announcement to get people excited with that nice reworked graphic just for posts. Love that. Our friend Peggy also posted about it as well. YouTube's first annual viewer recap is here. So a lot of buzz on it this week in the YouTube community. All right, the next video that came out this week on the Creator Insider channel was a myth busting about channel memberships and how, I guess it was channel memberships and whether, because there was some concerns. Remember, there was a concern. I know Linus, speaking of Linus Tech Tips, Linus talked about it over on his channel a few months ago about how YouTube was putting a lot of membership only content in the face of people who weren't members, and as a result they went and shut down their memberships. They've got their own platform for doing that stuff anyway, so it didn't really matter too much to them that they would shut it down locally on YouTube. But you know, I'm sure YouTube's disappointed because they don't get their cut of those memberships anymore. But he wasn't happy with the way that the members' content was being used to sort of make FOMO, to get people to join memberships because they're missing out on this content. So join the memberships and you will get this content. I think this all stems from that sort of discussion. But this is what YouTube had to say in terms of the members only content that does show up in the feed of people who maybe not be members, and obviously they can't click on it and watch it. They will get prompted to become a member. The first thing they said is that it has no negative impact on views. Members only videos recommended on the homepage are an additional source of traffic and do not replace recommendations for your public videos. The thing I'd have to say to that is, well, they're taking up a spot in your feed, and that's something they can't watch unless they become a member. So there's less content being shown to them that they're able to watch. I can see, you know, in the end, the viewer is choosing what to watch. And if they're going to watch something, they're going to watch something. Maybe they'll go watch something else from that channel, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll move on and click on another video to the side that's from a different channel. So maybe there is a secondary negative impact on views. I don't know. Reduced frequency. YouTube is reducing how often non-members see members-only recommendations to prevent them from feeling overwhelmed by content they cannot watch. So they're taking some of that feedback on board, and they're sort of, you know, pulling back on the frequency of those members-only content showing on the non-members feeds. New channel filter. By the end of the year, this is something new that YouTube's rolling out. A new feature will allow viewers to filter out members-only content when browsing a creator's channel page. So if they're not a member, they can just like filter out the members-only content and just see the content that's available for them to watch, which I think is cool that they have the choice. Also, a discovery angle on this. Members-only content will continue to surface in home, watch, and search feeds based on viewer interest, labeled as YouTube featured. Now, I have seen this YouTube featured on some content showing up in my feed, which I thought was very, very interesting. So, yes, it's something that I didn't know what it was, and I Googled it and I couldn't figure out. There was no documentation on what YouTube features was. Now they're explaining to us that this YouTube featured is some content that might be related to a channel that you are subscribed to, that YouTube is featuring. If you didn't see in the little thing, like featuring like that, it doesn't really make sense how that reflects in terms of memberships, because I'm seeing content shown to me that says YouTube featured, and that content isn't members only content. That content is content that I might be a member of. So it's like the other side of the coin, so to speak. So I really don't get what YouTube are meaning by using YouTube featured separate from members only content with the green what's it called, badge. So yeah, some things to look at there. Did I have another page on myth busting? No, I didn't. Just gonna go back to the myth busting because I want to jump into the chat real quick and jump on some comments here real quick. Larry says, I tested YouTube short video transforming my still video to an 8-second video clip. It was really impressive. Yeah, I'm getting a little buggy, but I'm doing some of that sort of stuff in the YouTube Create app on my iPhone. Obviously, I'm in Australia, so I can do that. If you're in Canada, you can do that. If you're elsewhere, you're out of luck unless you're on Android. They've got some of these same tools now for shorts also in the YouTube Create app with some variation. So that's interesting. Hey guys, this is at Mad Fred. Welcome to the stream. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I normally have good internet. Is the stream buffering for others? Yeah, anybody in the chat, let us know if you're buffering or not. Hard for me to tell on my end what it's doing once it goes through YouTube. Beanie Draws is also here. Welcome. Here we go. At Media Radio Jingles Gaming 5509. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Now, good afternoon indicates that you might be somewhere sort of in Europe. Linus pointing out his views are down for the past 18 months now. So he may have blamed non-members complaining that they don't want to see members' content pushed on them. Yeah, he's got like a combo of issues that he's sort of concerned with in terms of how his content's been performing. So yeah, that's an interesting one because there was that whole thing about ad blockers and stuff back in August, if I recall. So there's a whole bunch. Manfred seems to be having some trouble. I'll have to watch later. Yeah, do your best. If you're in the replay crew, then that's fine. Appreciate you stopping by anyway. The internet's doing weird things on you. All right, let's move on to the next thing we have here. Okay, we're just gonna touch some of these. We're just gonna touch on because they're in YouTube Creator Roundup this week, and obviously every month they do a roundup of what happened in the past month. Some of it's really current, some of it's back from last month, and then they go through and just sort of give you a bit of a recap, I guess you could say, or a roundup. And they have like a horizontal video, and they also do a vertical video that's dedicated to shorts news. And so we're going to talk about both of those. There's several pages of this stuff. So some of the stuff we've already talked about, or we've talked about previously, we'll just mention and move on. Let's start with likeness detection tool. A new feature is rolling out in YouTube Studio under the content detection tab, which we talked about when they announced it, to help creators detect and request the removal of unauthorized AI-generated content simulating their face, their looks, their moneymaker. It requires a one-time setup and will be available to all YPP creators by January 2026. Now, I got it this week. It's now showing up in my thing. We'll talk more about that in a minute. They also mentioned thumbnail and title A/B testing, which we just talked about already. So we'll move on. Studio is now live for all eligible US creators. Remember, they just rolled out in the US to start with. And obviously, at some point in the future, they're going to roll it out outside the US to us people out here. Live stream transitions. Creators with memberships can now transition to public live stream. That's the public to members live stream, which we tested that on a stream back in, I want to say it was in October. So that's an interesting one, which I made a whole video about that experience. So out of those, let's talk about likeness detection. This is some information. This is a screenshot from the setup process. Now, the setup process requires us to provide information here it says, if you continue, what they'll do is send you a QR code. They'll put up a QR code, scan it with your phone, and then you'll use your phone's camera to take a photo of your government issued ID. So you got to provide ID. This is so that you can't like use somebody else's likeness and track that and like take over somebody. You know what I mean? It's to say, this is me and this is my likeness. And obviously the government issued ID, and then the recorded brief video of your face. So they're going to record a video. They're going to take a video of your face. So a bit like, you know, turning on Face ID on your iPhone, for example, or on whatever other phone has Face ID, where you know, it'll take a scan of your face using your phone, because most phones now have that whole sensors where they can actually sense like the shape of your face, not just the look of your face, like the two-dimensional photo. So they've got to do all this, and obviously there's going to be some data processing involved, and they do go into detail now. It keeps going down off the page here. I'm going to make a video on this because there's some complications in terms of privacy that people should be aware of before they decide to use the feature. And I think we're going to dive into that deeper in a proper video, but I just want to mention it here. I think we continue to talk about that. And Matt Navarro comments in terms of an article, which I'm supposed to have up here. YouTube's new AI deepfake tracking tool, which is the likeness tool, is alarming experts and creators. YouTube's new tool fights deepfakes, which is good, but asks creators for biometric videos and ID to access it. Experts say fine print allows Google to train AI on these faces despite public denials. Now there's two checkboxes on this thing, and I didn't take a screenshot of it here for the show, but I'll show it in the video when I make the video. But there's two checkboxes. The first checkbox is the agreeing to that this is, you know, confirming that this is your likeness and that you'll, you know, you would like request access to the tool and have YouTube scan for your likeness in other parts of YouTube where someone might be using your fake AI likeness or using your likeness without your permission. But there's a second checkbox that's on there that is to do with, and it's optional. You don't have to opt in. You don't have to say yes to it, but it's where you either opt in. You can opt in to allow Google to use that data for certain things, but you can leave it unchecked, and which means you don't allow Google to use that data for certain things. And it's all detailed out. We'll read through that fine print in that video. But there's some concerns there, so just keep an eye on that. Don't rush into this whole thing just yet as it's rolling out. If you get it, don't rush in to do it until you sort of maybe get educated on that. So let me show you this screenshot. This is the article that Matt Navarro was referring to. I'm not going to read it, but there's key points up here. First one is a YouTube tool that uses creators' biometrics to help them remove AI-generated videos that exploit their likeness also allows Google to train its AI models on that sensitive data. Now that's the optional part. You can you don't have to opt into that. YouTube is expanding its likeness detection, a tool the company introduced in October that flags when creator's face is used without their permission in a deepfake video, which we know. Now YouTube told CNBC, which is the site we're on, that Google has never used creators' biometric data to train AI models, and it is reviewing the language used in the tool's sign-up form to avoid confusion. And yeah, you should definitely check the wording to make sure you don't confuse creators or get creators concerned when they shouldn't be, or at the same time not not disclose. You want to be able to disclose if that is something they are in fact doing on Google's side. So it's gonna be interesting how this ends up for us. All right, let's move on, because I will talk about likeness. Okay, the next part of the Creator Roundup video, we've got a slew of features and updates they mentioned. Enhanced comment replies. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. It was where AI suggested replies, which they've been doing for a while, but they've sort of, put a bit of an AI LLM upgrade onto them so that they're more personalized even more to your voice and how you've replied to comments before. It sort of learns from how you reply to comments in suggesting comments that you might want to leave. And of course, you can ignore those 100% of the time. If you want to, you don't have to use them. A shopping display update. Product tags on mobile now appear in a less disruptive shelf below the video. I think we talked about that. It might have been last week or the week before. Communities are now on desktop. I think that came out like a month ago. And other new community features. One we talked about a week or two ago was the pinning posts is new. And also hearting viewer posts to show appreciation. And also you're able to share links to community page from the mobile app. So you can actually like say, here's a link to my community on YouTube. And it goes straight to the community thing. They don't have to go like find your channel and click view community and do all that. And are we talking? Yes, we are. We're talking about now this is a sideways one because we're talking about comments just there, but this is a slightly different one. I'm not sure why I put it in this spot in the slideshow, but I did. So we're going to hit it so I don't forget it if I go forward and don't remember to come back. But here, now it's a little small on the screen, but we're going to pull up another thing as well. Peggy, our friend Peggy today says, YouTube lets you control who can comment on your videos and shorts in individual videos. This is a new setting, which I didn't know about until Peggy mentioned it, and it's a very subtle change. And then when I was uploading a video yesterday, I saw this as well. So I took some screenshots, which are sitting in the side here. So here, you can actually now have an option to allow anyone to comment, or just to allow subscribers and members to comment. You would hope a member is also a subscriber, but anyway, you know what I mean. It allows members and so you can actually choose instead of just turning comments on or off. And of course, you still got the same moderation settings, like the relaxed and the strict and all that. Here, you can now set allow, if you have your comments turned on, of course, you can have it set to anybody can comment, or just your subscribers and members can comment. So this is a subtle new feature. I haven't heard it announced anywhere on YouTube, but even on their page where they talk about comments and all the comment settings, there's a little line that they added. Let me see if I can find it here. This is the new part. When comments are turned on, you can decide which ones, if any, are held or limit commenting, or limit commenting to only subscribers and members. So that last part of that sentence is just been added because of this feature. As a very quiet rollout, because we didn't get told. YouTube haven't announced it. Maybe they'll talk about it next week on the Newsflash on Creator Insider. I don't know. Let's jump back into the chat. Brent's in the house. American English Brent. The shape of my face always changes. It got a bit wide after Thanksgiving. I can imagine. SMS Guy is here. That wasn't a thing already, huh? Yeah, that's it. That's been a feature on Twitch for a few years. Yeah, yeah. I'm a little rusty on my Twitch news. I thought that'd been a thing for a while. Guess not. It may have been, but I wasn't aware of it. And when Peggy did her thread that I've got posted here, I thought, oh, that's interesting. And yeah, who knows? Maybe it has been. Maybe it's fake news. Maybe it's fake news. Larry says, I had to block a viewer from the channel the other day. A tool video triggered him to rant 5 paragraphs and personally insulted me several times for no reason. It's like, sure, you can comment, but let's be civil about it. Hey, crazy. All right. I think we're going to I've somehow dropped the. I've somehow lost my short screen. I've probably put these out of sequence. I should have had like the shorts roundup before all this, but okay, it's probably in here somewhere. I've got two more. I got two more pages. This is something that I've only seen mentioned in here, but there was a blog post posted over on the YouTube official blog this week, which we're going to look at in a second. Now, Peggy says that YouTube now adds expressive captions displaying the intensity of speech in all caps, expressions, or sounds like sighs and gasps, as well as noises from the environment. This is available for videos in English uploaded after October. So any of your uploads since October, they're now working in this expressive captions. That's where when the closed captions come up on the screen, as you can see in the little picture, it's a little small here. You're going to see like the expressive. They're expressing or explaining what else is going on, and you can technically upload your own, and even with audio, there's some audio things that's separate from this with the whole live audio, where you got the auto dubbing, but you get multi-language audio. You can actually do this in different languages as well. But right now, for the automated ones that YouTube's adding, right now, just English videos uploaded since October. Google says it's part of their broader accessibility upgrades this winter. And we're going to jump on over to screen share. So this blog post came out this week. Expressive captions are now available on YouTube. So this is obviously a general announcement, because obviously captions are for viewers. They're not for creators. They're for viewers. Obviously, the information you give YouTube at your upload will help YouTube make better captions. Expressive captions are now available on YouTube in English across all devices, providing our viewers a more immersive content experience by displaying the intensity of speech in all caps, expressions of sounds like sighs and gasps, as well as noises from the environment. You might have seen this before on some like streaming platforms and stuff like Netflix and whatnot, where they where you might be watching a movie and it's giving you all the extra bits that are going on. You can sometimes switch between plain closed captions and the expressive captions. Interesting. Expressive captions use AI to communicate things like tone, volume, environmental cues, and human voices from audio playing on a device. So here's that example that was on that post. It's blowing up, so you can see there's some coverage of some. I'm assuming that's probably an NFL game, because I can see the NFL logo on the field. You can see that, like in the bracket, says gasps, cheers and applause. So it's telling you what's going on environmentally in the video. And that's it. That's a short announcement. It's a short announcement on that one. So be on the lookout that, particularly as a viewer. But I thought that was interesting to know these features that they're adding as a creator, that you can, sort of count on that being like an accessibility feature for people who are watching your video. That might happen on your videos, and it's just to enhance the viewing experience for those who have those limitations where they might be hearing impaired, so they get those extra cues as to what's going on. All right, let's see. Larry says, I enjoy comments that are disagreeing with me, but personal insults make no sense. Yeah, exactly. Beanie says, I think it may have been available a while ago, but they were then reintroduced. It was kind of more used to tackle trolls. We've had that. Obviously, there's that feature like for live streams where you can like go public, members only, subscribers only. So you've been able to do it in live streams for a while for live chat commenting. So there's that. We've seen that for a long time. This is like regular videos. So yeah. Insane Wheels, dropping the fire. Look at that. Welcome to the stream. This is a quick one. Jonah mentioned, and I noticed as well on the YouTube Create app, obviously, if you're on iOS and you're in most parts of the world, you're not going to see that. But if you're on Android, you might see it. On iOS in Canada and Australia, you'll see it. They've got a new main screen with a new look because they've built in some of those VO3 features that are on the Shorts tools on the main YouTube app into here where we can do some of the edit with AI. You know what? Let's just see if I can find it on my. Where did I work? Create app. It's under editing, isn't it? It's under editing. Might be a better view than what we're looking at there. Yeah, there we go. So this is it here. That's the one with that sort of Nemo looking, or was that a dragon? I know that's a fish or a dragon. It's on a rotating. So here I could just like start creating a project. So I could do edit. This is editing app, so I can edit long form, short form, vertical, horizontal. There's the edit with AI, which is a new feature that they're also rolling out in the Shorts tool on the main YouTube app. And I can also generate a video the same as I can on the Shorts app as well. So these AI options are new to the Create app. Obviously, you could create a project as soon as it was launched. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. Let's go back to this. And I got one more screen, which is probably that missing Shorts roundup that I was talking about. I don't know what I've done with the Shorts roundup. I've lost it. I lost the whole page on my slideshow. Okay, the main topic of the day. I've lost the Shorts. You know what? Before we get the main topic, I just want to make sure I didn't like skip it because I might have like double clicked. Oh no, this is it here. I double clicked. That's the second part of the roundup. All right, let's do these and then we'll get to the main topic because once I get to the main topic, we're not going back. Okay, for the Shorts roundup this week, for the past month or so, the generative AI expansion, tools like green screen backgrounds, AI Playground, and standalone clips are expanding to more regions, rolling out to like more places around the world so that eventually everybody will have them. Edit with AI, a new tool that automatically assembles raw footage, which is what that button on the YouTube Create app. You can also do it in a limited fashion on the YouTube Shorts tools on the main YouTube app. You can upload like short clips, but they need to be really short. Like I think the limit on the length of the clip, you can upload a bunch of them and for it to edit together, but they can't be long clips. They have to be, I think it's under 45 seconds or is it 40 seconds? Something like that. It's not even a full minute. It's like there's a limit to the size in time of the clips that you upload. So there's a limitation there. So I haven't been able to like trial it because stuff I have like already in my camera roll. Generally, if I'm recording something, I'm doing it like in one take and then cutting it up. But I've got like, you know, a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something like that. And so I don't really have it to test. So I'm going to be testing that out. That's probably a good one for my mobile channel. Photo to video upgrades. You can now turn photos into 8-second videos complete with AI-generated sound, speech, and custom prompts VO3, which is what Larry was mentioning earlier in the chat. That he had tested that out and thought the result was pretty good. Other new generative effects, global rollout of effects that can animate selfies. That's the effects where, like, if you're making a short with the Shorts tools, where you can, you know, you're looking at thing, you can go into the effects and it can like do weird things to your face and give you a hat, or you know, sort of like the advanced Snapchat overlays, but a little bit more advanced and AI driven. And two features that are only released in the US so far: speech to song and Dream Track lyrics, which I'm not going to talk any more about because I don't know anything about them because they're in the US only. All right, now let's get back to the main topic. That we landed on it prematurely, and this is the last screen which I'm actually covering up. So for a second, I'm going to turn myself off. There's a whole bunch of news this week about the Australia under-16 ban from social media. Now the ban, let me put myself back up for a second. Let me give some, there we go. So now this ban is coming out December 10, which is in like 4 days. So next week, this is rolling out. There's some things going on. What I'm going to focus on in a second, once we look at a couple of these articles real quick, we're going to look at what YouTube is doing in terms of the underage restriction. And not only that, what if you're a creator who's under 16 in Australia? What is YouTube doing? Are you able to still upload? We're going to explore that. Okay, now I'll take myself off. Okay, first of all, I've got everything up, so I need to move all those. I'm just going to pull those off for a second. Matt Navarro talked about a global drive to curb social media for kids begins in Australia. So this is basically talking about how everybody around the world is watching Australia to see what happens, to see if it works, see if it doesn't work, to see if other governments are seeing if they can implement something similar where they are. Now let's look at YouTube specifically. Matt Navarro also says YouTube finally sets to comply with the Australia under 16 ban. YouTube says it will auto sign out all Australian users under 16 on December 10. Google's Rachel Lord said the law blocks minors from using safety tools normally available with logged in accounts. So there's some YouTube not being happy with the law. None of the social media platforms are overall. They think there's ways they can better do things, which we're going to look into. Now, if you're if you are a user in Australia, then Jonah posted in his tweet here that we got a message, a notification in our studio app this week. I saw it. I got it as well, which we're going to... Can I find it? He didn't. His was all cropped off. That's why I don't have it in full. Let me look in my phone app notifications. Yeah, it's opening up. Oh, it just goes straight. It just goes straight to the article that I'm going to show anyway. But it basically says starting 10. Users must be 16 plus to sign into YouTube. And also, Social Media Today says YouTube will comply, but it's not happy about it. I'm not going to read the social media one, but what we are going to do is go and look at what YouTube says they're going to do. There's some implications for creators, not just viewers. Before we get started, Petey says that, yeah, that'll be interesting as a viewer. It just cuts off your ability to comment. Oh, that's the previous one, isn't it? But you can still view. Yeah, there's some other stuff going on too. Good morning. Hi, home. Glad you're home. Boom, boom. Larry says, do you think parents will just make burner accounts for the kids to use? The problem is the way that they work out, some of the ways they work out your age is by how you use YouTube, how you use the platform. If you start watching content typical of people who are under 16, then YouTube will start asking questions. That's apparently what they're doing as part of the tools. Like, how do they know? Because, you know, they're not asking everybody to upload ID. They're not asking everybody to do this. It's like, well, how do they think that you're under 16? And therefore, we're going to shut your account off until you can prove otherwise. So yeah, there's some complications. It's not a simple matter of that you can still access YouTube without an account. You just can't comment. Yeah, there's some stuff that you're gonna lose because you're not logged in. So we're going to read this, and I'll come back to the chat because I think this is important. YouTube access restrictions for users under 16 in Australia. Due to a new law in Australia, the minimum age required to sign into YouTube in Australia is 16. So all those 13 to 16-year-olds who used to be able to do some stuff with some autonomy, with parent supervision, gone. Obviously, you couldn't get an account if you're under 13 or under in most places. YouTube already doesn't allow that. So, you know, it's like a YouTube Kids situation or a supervised account with a parent. This means that starting on 10 December 2025, users under 16 will automatically be signed out of YouTube. All those we think are 16 and are residing in Australia, we're doing this too because otherwise we're going to cop a fine from the Australian government. This includes any supervised preteen and teen accounts. We recognize that this has important implications for users, and we encourage you to review your options below. Okay, yeah, to Beanie's point, this is what you lose when you're signed out and watching. So they can still use, so they're obviously going to be automatically in restricted mode because if you can't sign in, you don't get any of the content that could be classified as restricted, 18 plus content, all that sort of stuff. So if you're not logged in, you can't like, subscribe, private playlists, or join channel memberships. And if you have a YouTube channel, your channel will no longer be visible to other users. So if they believe you're 16 and under, they're going to make your channel invisible on YouTube. If you're an Australian and under 16, or if they believe you're an Australian who's under 16, your channel will go offline. Like, it'll still be there, your content will still be there, but YouTube won't show it to anybody. And then you won't be able to do the following things. You won't be able to upload, you won't be able to like go and comment on videos or answer comments on your videos, and you won't be able to earn money on YouTube. So no option to access a YouTube partner program. Whereas before, parent supervision, you could still earn if you're under 16. And so then they're giving instructions on how to download your data and the content you created using Google Takeout, which is interesting. So this is like, if you're a young creator in Australia, this is devastating. This is devastating stuff. Like, I hope you're making content with your parents and that is actually your parents' account and you just appear on the videos, because that's okay. You can be a talent in a video or talent on a channel, but you can't be the owner or the operator of the channel. So right now there's going to be kids scrambling to get their parents on board and make sure that that's set up under their parents' name and with their parents operating that channel in a way that it's the parents' channel, the kids are the talent. That is allowed. And there's a whole section here about downloading data and content, and then an option that if you're done with YouTube, you can delete your data and content. I think most people don't want to do that. Now, here's an interesting one. Update your location. If you no longer live in Australia and believe that a different location should be associated with your account, you can submit a request. There's a link there to change your region, because obviously you're locked into Australia because of your settings on YouTube. You can't just go and change the setting. You're going to have to, like, if you change it, you're also going to have to go and submit a form, so that I think you're just changing it to, bypass the law. If you're using a preteen supervision, then your family manager, the parent who supervises your account, will need to fill out the form for you. Now, there is reports that some creators who are like family creators and stuff are actually leaving Australia totally and to go and make their content elsewhere in the world, so that they don't get booted off YouTube just because they're under 16. Now, what happens when you turn 16? Like, okay, now I'm 16, I'm allowed to be on YouTube. When you turn 16, you'll be able to sign into YouTube again. So if you've already got an account, you'll be able to go and log back in miraculously. If you want to re-enable your channel, follow the steps to create a new channel. Once the steps are completed, your old channel will be reinstated. So basically, you got to. I'm 16 now. I can come back to YouTube. There's some steps to take to reactivate your account, your channel. And they get some FAQs on this as well. What if I'm a co-owner of the channel? These new access restrictions for users under 16 will be applied to the primary co-owner of the channel. If the primary co-owner is under 16, he will not be able to sign into YouTube. I don't know how YouTube are going to know all this. What if my child is using a supervised account? If your child is under 16, it will automatically be signed out and will no longer be available. So you can't use a supervised account. if your child is under 13 and using a preteen supervision and is signed in on Android and or Chrome, they will not be able to access YouTube at all. And then there's implication for, okay, we've got like a family plan on premium. Now, all of a sudden, they don't have access to YouTube. What happens to that? Since the user will be signed out, the premium plan will no longer apply to this user. If a family plan no longer suits your household, you can explore other plans, such as a two-person plan or individual plans. So it's like, yeah, if you've got a family plan and then all your kids all of a sudden aren't able to access that, then maybe you could do a two-person account for the parents, or a single one if you're a solo parent or something like that, where there's not two people in the household who actually can use premium. This is like YouTube is like, well, they want us to comply. We're gonna have to like roll these tough measures out. I don't think these measures have been rolled out anywhere else in the world, and I'm a little shocked. I think this goes beyond maybe even what happened. I don't even know if this happened in the UK to this extent with their changes a few months ago. So I'm really, really concerned. Well, if it was YouTube's preference, let's go back to this one. Now, if it's YouTube's preference, if they had a choice of what they could do, if there wasn't any implications, they would allow whatever else they allow in other parts of the world. They would allow the channel to continue. They would allow you to watch, even if it's like being limited or restricted because you're under 16. That obviously the content is limited, but you are signed in. It's going to be interesting to see who gets caught in a crossfire. So YouTube deactivating accounts. Some of those accounts are going to be deactivated in error. Some people 16 or over might be deactivated. Those are borderline, like 16-year-olds. They can have one. 15 can't. They go from 15 to 16. They can have one. Some of those people might be still watching content that sort of makes them like lean towards they might be 14 or something, and get deactivated. So, like, there's nothing in this article about what the process is if you get caught up in this in error. How do I prove that I am over 16 or older? Now, I don't think for someone like myself who's like an older person is going to have that concern unless I'm out there watching content that's typical of teens and preteens. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But if you're sort of a younger person who is old enough, but they're likely to be caught in a crossfire. I can't see YouTube getting this perfect. Let's jump into the comments. SMA Sky says, other social media they don't have. We've heard IG is making a kids version that will allow parents to set limits and manage it somehow. Yeah. But in Australia, they probably won't allow that. I don't think. I know there's a YouTube Kids and that's not caught up. But I don't know how you do that with Instagram. Because YouTube's doing the curating for YouTube Kids. Was Instagram going to just curate certain content? And how do you do that for kids? Because it's not like a platform where there's like programming or content like there is on YouTube. Interesting. Yeah, supervised accounts. That's a bit harsh. Yeah, it is. It's harsh. Well, YouTube's like, we don't want the government coming back to us and saying we haven't done enough or whatever. So we're going scorched earth. And so I think some people are going to get caught in a crossfire. Hang on, what's that? Renable but create a new channel. Yeah, that's confusing. That wording was confusing. Monique says lots of hoops. Yeah, that's lots of hoops. They'll probably have a restriction on that too. Yes. YouTube wants 16-year-olds. They just have to appear they're trying to protect 16-year-olds. Yeah. YouTube doesn't want anybody to sort of miss out because there's content on YouTube for everybody. There's content for people who are 13, 14, 15. But now the Australian government and our e-commissioner are saying, no, sorry, you can't even have access. you can't even have access. At least for the younger kids, there's YouTube Kids that can have access to that. But the children in that older age bracket, they're not watching. Their content isn't on YouTube Kids. It's on regular YouTube. Yeah, I personally think that parents should have the choice. Yeah, if parents are being bad parents, then hey, deal with the parents for not protecting their children. I think most parents want to protect their children and will do the best that they can to do that. I know it's tricky policing online stuff in certain terms, but there are tools. There are tools. Nothing to say they won't request birth certificates. I heard Facebook does that with some people. Yeah, like if you're 16 or older in Australia, then you can technically have a government issued ID because you're either because you can start getting your learners in most states at 16, but if not, you can get a proof of age card as well. If you for some reason aren't going for your license just yet, you're a late bloomer. I don't want to drive. I catch a bus or whatever. So there's ID available to people who are 16 and up. Obviously, having to hand that over when we don't need to normally is a little bit of an issue. A lot of people, like for me personally, I would give it to YouTube. I don't care for me, but I don't. That's probably not going to be an issue for me because I'm not. The way I watch content isn't indicating that I'm under 15. Larry says, but you can say that about any corporation. If CEO is called to Congress, they have to be able to say our policies attempt to prevent this. You got to be showing that you're doing the right thing. Yeah. It is part appearance, but it's also part, walking the walk. As long as that walk reaches like the minimum expectation. But sometimes like I think YouTube here are probably going a little scorched earth because they don't want any kickback at all. They're doing it not out of they're doing it out of obligation, but they're also doing it a little bit of spite back, a little bit of, hey, we're unhappy about this, so we're going to do it this way. Probably would need to submit ID, I imagine. But does that also mean everyone in Australia will need to submit ID? Well, no, because they're not gonna block everybody. Like they've got a way, based on this article, to know to have a very good guess at which accounts are under 16 based on viewer behavior. And so they're going to put machine learning AI in play to do that detection. Otherwise, kids could make new accounts and put a fake birthday. Yeah, but when you sign for YouTube, I don't know if they ask you your age. Do they ask you your age? It's been so long since I set up a Google account, I can't remember. Maybe they do. I'm not sure. Beanie says, not that I've uploaded in a while, but I guess that's a percentage of my comments gone. Well, that's right. If you've got people under 16 in Australia who are watching your videos, then they can't comment anymore. Well, they can't even watch your videos anymore, technically. Now, they can watch logged out, so they can watch the videos. But yes, as you say, they can't comment. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'll be interested to see what happens. Like in a week, we can start reporting back what's going on over here, whether it's a debacle, whether some platforms have got it, some haven't, whether something else happens with the Australian government in the meantime. We will see. We will see. I'm a little concerned that there will be a percentage of people caught in a crossfire, particularly in that 16 to maybe 20 age group, particularly 16 to 18. It will be interesting to see how it plays out. Very interesting. All right, I want to know I don't know if you got any more thoughts on that, or if you have any other questions. Now's the time we're going to open up for Q&A. So if you've got a question for me about anything we discussed today or anything else, then you can drop it in the chat, put a Q in front of it, and we'll talk about it over the next 10 or so minutes before we wrap things up and get ready for the Niminati. All right. I'm going to go do my usual checks and balances here and take a drink of water. Oh, this is interesting. All right. It's sharing time. It's sharing time. But before we do that, let's talk about what's coming up. Oh, that's not the one. Wrong one. I pressed the wrong button. That was an out-of-date members list. Here we go. Coming up today at 9 a.m. Eastern, we've got Nimin Live with Nick and Dee. Obviously, from 9 a.m. Eastern, that's midnight where I am. That's 1 a.m. where Beanie is. and that starts in 23 minutes from now. I'm just getting my 30-minute notifications pop through now. It's actually in 23 minutes from now. So 9 a.m. until about, let's see. At least, this is interesting. This is what I'm going to share. We'll come back to that. We'll come back. Also, 1 p.m. Eastern later today on the Opus Clip channel, we've got Andrew Canner, Roberto Blake. Today talking about Roberto's patented, I say patented loosely, of course, Shorts Blitz Explained. So Roberto's going to walk through his Shorts Blitz strategy for YouTube. And as a reminder, Sunday, tomorrow, Chantel's not streaming this week. She is unwell. So send your thoughts and prayers to Chantel, get better so she can get her stuff done, as always. And, of course, I'm back here next week, 7:30 a.m. Eastern for YouTube Creator News. And if there's any fallout from the Australian under 16 ban on social media, and it's relevant to YouTube, then we'll discuss it. Okay. This is what I want to show you. I just gone over to look at the schedule. Nick Dimmon's going live at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is my midnight. 12, that's why it says 12:30 a.m. Now, he did test something last week, and this is interesting. It looks like he's got this set up in a slightly different way. He's got 2 separate streams set up this time. He's got his regular stream, which will go from 12:30, and then an hour and a half later. So his regular stream will be an hour and a half, and then he'll be transitioning to a members-only stream. I'm not sure what method he's using for this. The fact that there's 2 streams already scheduled means that they're going to be separate streams, not a public to members-only YouTube method, because we know that's broken because we tested that last month. So that's interesting. So I wanted to point that out, particularly if you're a regular on Nick's streams. So it looks like we've got the regular stream for the first hour and a half, and then we got members stream straight after that, an hour and a half in. All right. And we've got, I'm going to jump straight to this one. And we're going to pull this up, and let me click the right button.
Thank you for the super chat.
In the Granite 617 says, who paid for my membership here? That's a good question. You probably picked one up. Somebody, I think, was it last week or the week before? Daniel Batal dropped 10 gifted memberships? I've had a few gifted memberships drop. I think that was the main group. I think it was 10. And that was probably where it happened. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I want to say it was Daniel Batal off the top of my head, because obviously I don't get gifted memberships every stream. So when someone drops 10, yeah, good. And also thank you for the $2 super chat. Much appreciated. Let me go back to the main screen here. Jump back in. Now, Creator Classroom is back from her breakfast. Lovely, lovely. Beanie says, I guess I got to start watching more swearing content and less dinosaurs. We don't want Beanie getting banned. He's nowhere close to that 16 sort of cutoff there. Oh, lovely caramel pecan French toast. Yeah, I don't know what method he's using for that, so it should be interesting. Should be interesting because he hasn't told me. I don't know. From Boston. From Boston. Hello, Boston. G'day. I want to go to Boston one day. I haven't been to Boston. I haven't been on the East Coast. I've been LA and Vegas and Dallas and flown over top of those 2 or 3. But yeah, it would be nice to get over to the East Coast one day. Love it. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. I think he's in Massachusetts, somewhere near Boston. I won't be here for the experiment. Yeah, I'm not sure how he's doing it. In the ground at 617. I retire in 1 month. Oh, congratulations, I guess, is in order. If that's like something that's your goal, is to do that retirement in 1 month. When it's like when you got a job where it's a mandatory retirement, then that's like, oh, okay. I gotta find something else to do now. Yeah. I'm not there yet. I'm not quite there yet. I got a few more years yet. All right. Well, because we're that close, we need to do this thing.
It's the last call.
It's the last call, so it's your last chance to make a comment in the chat or ask a question before we wrap things up and send you all over to Nick's channel. So if you got something, drop it in while I take a sip and also make sure that I'm all taking advantage of and being able to have the settings in place to send you there. Because when the stream's not scheduled before you start, you just got to do the needful. There it is. Make sure I send you to the public one, not the members only one. All right. And let's put a big heart on that super chat from earlier from In the Granite. There we go. I always forget that heart feature is there, and I have to do it over on the YouTube side. I can't do it over here in Social Stream Ninja and the list that I'm working off. Oh yeah, let's do it. Last call, y'all. There we are. Hashtag last call. Last call. Hope Chantel gets feeling better. I was out of sorts this week myself. Yeah, sometimes we push ourselves and burn the candle at both ends. We get a little bit under the weather. Maybe get in contact with someone and catch something and knocks us out for a few days. We want to make sure we get that dealt with and rest. Did I miss anything groundbreaking that would impact me specifically? As a recap, let's see. We had so much stuff this week that it's left my head. All right, let's do the quick recap. We can do the quick recap. Let me lose all the magic stuff from on top. And let's jump back to the top because that's where the important stuff is, near the top. Rolling out title A/B testing to everybody who has advanced features. Everybody knows about YouTube Recap. Don't need to recap that. There's a winter gift drop for vertical gifts on vertical live streams. Release notes talked about Recap. We'll continue. We all know about Recap now. There was a myth busting about channel memberships and affecting reach of new videos or views or whatever the latest thing is. They did a bit of a myth busting, so we sort of went quickly through that. And in the creator roundup, they recapped a lot of things, including the new likeness detection tool, which I'm going to do a video about, break it down because there's some privacy implications with that. Everything else we talked about before there. That's all about likeness detection. So that's all rehashed from the last month. And in the shorts roundabout, there was a bit of a thing update with comments. You can now on regular videos when you upload your comment. You know what? I'm off the screen there. There we go. I didn't turn myself back on earlier. You can with comments on videos now, you can actually set it so that either anyone can comment, or it's just make it so your subscribers and members are the only ones that can comment. So not just on or off. That we think is new, but we're not sure. And also YouTube are now using expressive captions, so that's a viewer feature, but it's good to know as creators. That's where it expresses everything else that's going on in the environment that particularly could be like things that might be experienced by hearing, like music or sound effects, or like a gasp or some cheers or something like that. So we've got all that going on. And I think that's it. I think they're the important ones. That's my hurried recap for this. Stanley Orchard's in the house. Good to see you. Massachusetts taxed me 6% of the money they already taxed me. That's crazy. That's crazy. We don't have state taxes on income in Australia. It's like it all happens at the federal level. But yeah, that's crazy. I know tax laws in different states in the US can be quite strange. Top of the morning. The thing that they could do about thumbnail title testing is we could schedule that to start when it goes public. Schedule from members to public. I think it does, because right now when it's unlisted, although, yeah, if you use members, it's probably ticking over once the members is active because members are viewing a video. Yeah, I think you're right. I know what you're saying. Yeah, being able to set a timer, because otherwise you have to go and manually activate it, set it up, and then it's gone. Choose who can comment. Yes. Expressive captions are great for those who are hearing impaired. I think that's a big advantage. Just hit 1,003 subs. Congratulations. I think all you need now, make sure you got the 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months in the earn tab. So that's like off public content, not shorts, nothing that's been unlisted or privated or deleted is counted. But if you've got that, the earn tab will tell you what you might be missing in terms of being able to apply. Usually, if it's not subscribers, it will be watch time. If we do it when it's members only, it kicks out because it says it's not public. Okay, yeah, so it actually does activate when it goes public then. Opitea won this morning. Your light heavyweight champion is an Aussie. Oh, okay. There we go. I didn't even know about that. Usually we should get like the boxing news on the. Is that? I'm assuming that's boxing. Should get a bit of that on the spot. Also reached a milestone, 9,000 subscribers. Congratulations! Woohoo! Oh, I'm looking for my cheers. Where's my cheers? We can do that one. That's for in the granite and the creative classroom. It's a bit loud. I don't know who's shadow banning you. That's interesting. No, when activated, just stops the test and it doesn't restart when it goes public. Oh, that's interesting, because I usually set mine before I make it public, and it seems to work. I don't know. I'll pay a closer look. I've got a video that's queued that's already set with A/B test, I think. So I will see what I can see. I'll test that before I make it live. I can't remember what the percentage is of channels reaching 10K. I don't remember the number either, but I'm heading there. Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting close. Getting close. Well done. All right, we need to wrap things up. It's 10 minutes to Nimmin Live. I got to stop, reset, make a coffee, and jump in. I think I'll be modding somewhat solo. Hopefully Beanie's hanging around in Nick's chat for a while. I won't have Chantel helping me this week, so I'm going to be on double duty. I want to thank everyone for watching today, and we'll see you again this time next week. I'll catch you later.